Hi, this is Ezekiel, founder of Forex Mentor. So in this video, I'll be revealing what I do on a weekly basis, and I'll be sharing my analysis for this week, which is the 17th of October 2016. So you can refer to this video throughout the week to spot for trade setups. The analysis in this video will be my trading plan for the week. So in my weekly analysis videos, I'll be sharing pairs that are possible setup for the week or pairs that are worth taking note. Okay, so we're gonna recap on the pairs that we have gone through last week. Last week we talked about the S&p 500. Right, so S&p 500 has now, I've plotted my trend line over here. I have also my horizontal line, which is a support and resistance line over here. I have my 150 EMA and my Bollinger Band over here as well. So I mentioned that here is a very crucial area for the S&P as a whole, and if it does break through, is going to mean that S&P is now heading downwards. So let's look at what happened last week. Right, last week price did broke below the trend line, which is an early indication that hey, the price is now heading downwards. So after breaking down, however, it formed a buying pin. So this is the one, the red bar over here. It formed a buying pin that that is bouncing above the Bollinger Band and the 150 and the horizontal pivot area, which is of no surprise. So after that, price headed back up and formed a selling pin now that bounces off the trend line. So what are we going to do now, right? So price is now in between these two crucial zones. It has broken through the trend line, which is what we are seeing over here, because price did not close back above the trend line, but it has not broken below my three levels over here, the Bollinger, the pivot area, and 150. So right now price is right smack in between these two areas. All right, so and but the good thing is that it is showing indication right now is going into the bearish mode, but of course it's getting rejected because it's a strong rejection. And the good thing is that it is now forming two long pin bars, one buying pin and one selling pin as a whole. So as per normal, based on the style that we trade, I will wait for both of the pins to fight its way out, and whichever does close above or below. So I'm going to plot this area now. Here is the low of the pin over here. Let me plot another line to the top of the tail of the pin over here. So I'm going to let the pin fight it out, right? Whichever direction does it close, if it does close below this level, S&P is most likely going to hit down. Next stop would be my 365. But if it does hits back up, S&P is going back up into a bullish trend once again, right? And then the next important thing to note is that the US election is coming, right? It's coming on the November 8th, right? And this is going to have a huge impact on the stock market and on the dollar currency as a whole, the USD pairs as a whole. So having said that, I'm just going to give what I think in the market. It may or may not happen, right? So given that it's now between Trump and Hillary, right? And given the polls right now, Hillary is the one that is leading, and that is also what happened in the Brexit, right? If you remember, when the Brexit polls were out, everybody is in favor of the polls were in favor with staying in line and not leaving, right? And it came by the only point. So the market kept heading up, the pound kept moving up, and it's only when at the last minute, whereby when the results came, or before that, when the first indication where the polls came, whereby it shows that hey, actually the people that is voted to leave is more than the people who voted to stay, and that's where the pound plummeted. But all this while, it has been in favor of staying. Right, so that's what kept the pound moving up. And then when the unexpected news came, the Brexit came, the pound collapsed. So right now, what is happening over here, on what I feel, is something that is pretty similar. The market is moving in the direction of a Hillary win, right? And polls have been in the direction of a Hillary win. So if on the day itself, if the indication that Trump does win, boom. My bet is that the S&P, the overall stock market, is going to fall, gold is going to go up, the dollar is going to go down. Because when dollar goes down, gold goes up. So that is what it is. And if that's happened, we are the traders, we want to be in line with it. We will be there because if you have missed Brexit earlier, you will want to be there at this movement itself. This is most likely going to be a huge movement if Trump eventually does win, which may or may not be a good thing or maybe a bad thing, I don't know. But however it is, we are going to trade in line with that movement, and that movement, good chance, may be a huge one. Alright, so I'm giving you a heads up that this is the one that I'll be watching very closely when the polls is going to be out and when the election is due. Alright, okay, so this is my take on the S&P and the overall USD pairs and the stock market itself, right? So next pair is the GBP USD. This is one where we have talked about last week. We talked about it going. Here was the flash crash as a whole, right? And this was a big spike down, 600 pips in one bar, right? After that, it retraces back up. So this was where I covered last week, whereby good chance, given the bearish momentum, price is going to head back down. So which is it? So it came back down for a second time. Price does seems to come back down for the third time as a whole. So but all in all, it's kind of going sideways, pretty much flat lately, because it has been in a pretty much deep low. So my take on the pound is probably may head even lower, but as a whole, it should stay within these zones for now until a next major news is out, which is good chance the US election, right? So as a whole, it will be pretty much flat as a whole, probably fluctuation, but as a whole, pretty much flat. All right. Next pair is XAU USD, which is the gold, right? Gold, I mentioned after breaking through this crucial area, which is what we covered last week, price is now going to stop at the 365. So this is a strong area of rejection. For the whole of last week, price has been in a sideways mode, which is normal. If I zoom in a little bit more, right, it is now pretty much sideways. Is determining its direction. Gold is hugely related to dollar, so whatever the is outcome of election is going to hugely reflects on the gold itself. So as a whole, we will expect movements pretty much flat along this area, and I did mention that if price do break through below the 365, it has room for it to hit down further. And if price does break through, what we are seeing now is a congestion. Price does break through this congestion, is going to hit back up to test this old crucial area once again. And if we go over to the weekly time frame, this is what we are seeing. Price previous week itself, it shot down and it closed below the two crucial area, my white line and my orange line, right? It closed below these two crucial area. Last week itself, price went up to test, touched exactly at the white line and couldn't break through and came back down. So it now shows that here is a very strong area of rejection. So if I plot a line over here, just to note that this is for the white line of my weekly time frame, and I go back down to the daily time frame, here's the reason why price is now congestion, in a sideways congestion. So price is now in between this line and the white line. So price is going to bing bang this area, and whichever direction it goes, after which we will be in line with that direction. But as for now, gold is still in a bearish momentum until, like I said, the election. Alright, next pair, dollar yen. So dollar yen is something that I talk about, and I mentioned that once it does close above, is a good start that the dollar yen is moving its way up. Last week itself, I mentioned that when price starts testing this area once again, good chance is going to break through. And yes, it broke through. So we have been bullish on the dollar yen, and the signs now is has broken through. So all in all, I'm still bullish on the dollar yen itself, and it's now moving in the direction as we have planned. Alright, next pair, dollar sing. Again, this is something that it has been nicely planned after our take on the dollar sing going up. Price has now heading up. If you can recap on my last week video, if you haven't, do watch it. Right, so price is now going up, and I did mention that this is the orange line, is the crucial level, which is the monthly over here, which is my monthly 150, and this is the crucial area, and it has broken through the monthly 150. So all in all, dollar sing looks to be in the uptrend ever since. Over here we have been bullish on the dollar sing, and it has been going up ever since it broke up all the way to now. It has been going up 1, 2, 3, 4 about 300 to 400 over pips. So it is now heading into the upper realm of the dollar Sing as a whole. All right, and the last pair is the dollar Swiss franc. This is what I did talk about last week. I did drew my line. So as a whole, dollar Swiss franc is in a sideways congestion. It does seem to be breaking out pretty soon. If we look at this, here's the highest. Price is now broken over the 365 and is now going to hit to the trend line as a whole. And once it does break through, it's most likely going to hit up to where? My Bollinger Band at the top, which is in line with the previous rejection area. Alright, so that's my analysis for this week. And like mentioned, I've opened up my last seminar in Singapore on the let me recall, it's on the 19th and 20th of November. Right, so this will be my last seminar for the year itself, and I'll be after which I'll be out of town with my holidays. Alright, so if you are keen to sign up for my seminar, this is the last one and you will want to act fast. Alright, so that's all for this week. I will see you all next week.